I want to thank Dr. Murthy, Edward, this distinguished speaker panel, all you beautiful guests here today. The subject is dark. It has to do with the problem of addiction in our schools today. I don't know which is the darker subject, whether it was child abuse or this, but they're both such that the denial is significant, whether it's the principal, the owner-operator, the parent, the child. Unfortunately, we are in a state where, as opposed to other countries, here, if you talk about addiction of any sort, and if you read this, I gave a speech in Delhi on the subject of addiction, also for Education Forum. And I asked everybody there, I said, everybody that think they're an addict, please raise their hand. And nobody raised their hand. And at the end of the speech, I asked them, I said, okay, now does anybody think they're an addict? Everybody raised their hand. So what is addiction? Anything done in excess of the normal, acceptable norm is an addiction. It could be gambling, gaming, it could be TV, it could be workaholic, it could be Facebook. That's the latest addiction facing us today, adults and children. And so there's different types of addictions and addicts. What is an addict? Anybody does anything that is, again, in excess of what is normally acceptable. An addict can be a teetotaler, casual, social, impulsive, compulsive, or what is known as rock bottom. Now these are the degrees of separation. So which are we? You know, do I just have one drink socially once in a while? Maybe. But the next time something happens in your life, there is a trigger, some tragedy. You lost your job, you lost a loved one. So where do you go to? What is the first thing you try to find? Some kind of satisfaction, relief, comfort. Is that you thought was just an occasional thing? And so what is happening today is that in the school system, which we are here to, and we talked about crisis management, there's a crisis in this country. In other countries, again, I'm not trying to compare, but I've lived in America for 40 years. If you have a problem with addiction, the community welcomes you. Everybody welcomes you and says, come, let us help you. Here, I'm associated with a lot of the best rehab centers in India. And, excuse me, the power of positive thinking. And it has been accepted by Penguin Random House for worldwide distribution. There's thousands of books on addiction in the library. It's the first time, I think, to the best of my knowledge, that somebody has taken and reversed the roles. Instead of being top-down, clinical, I'm the guru, I'm the PhD, and I'll tell you what your problem is. But nobody tells you what the solution is. And so when I looked at it, I said, look, there's got to be another way to address the issue. Number one, what is the solution? Typically the solution is prescription pills. You go to a psychiatrist, he gives you a bunch of pills, you take them, and before you know it, you're addicted to the very pills that you went there to solve the problem with. So what is the solution? And to me, I thought that the solution was self-realization, motivation, inspiration. Because unless the change happens from within, whether it's an adult or whether it's a child, it has to happen from within. You cannot tell anybody not to do something. The more you tell them not to do it, the more they're bound to do it. Whether it's rebellion, whether it's self-assertion, whatever it is. So therefore, and I briefly go subject of the book, it's a step-by-step guide, self-help guide, going through every aspect of addiction and addressing it. There's worksheets, notes, and at the end I have some motivation, inspiration that I have written in general, applies not just, it's just even for corporate training, HR or what have you. So can we go to the next, please? Because I have very little time. Can we go to the next? Okay, so basically we need to understand whether it's a parent, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a counselor. In fact, before I finish, there's a tremendous need for addiction counselors in the school system and outside in India. There is no such skill set available. And so the book is written from a standpoint of what do I do, where do I go? If a parent is facing a problem with the child, if a child is maybe even facing a problem with the parent, we don't know what to do. We don't know where to go, who to call. And the answer is, oh, go to a psychiatrist. Well, the psychiatrist, if I may say so, with all due respect to this profession, they deal in the conscious. The root cause of all addiction is the subconscious. And unless you get into the subconscious, the feelings, the emotions, the trauma, memories, past history, you will never ever get to address the problem. So this is the who, what, when, where. We have to ask the question as to who is it, when did it happen, why did it happen, what can we do about it. Can you go to the next one? So this is the cycle of addiction, ladies and gentlemen. They're the triggers. A trigger is anything that makes you want to use. And I say use in a general sense, whether it's drugs, alcohol, or any other form of addiction. And then it changes your behavior pattern. You go into denial, okay? No, not me, I'm okay, I don't do it. You go into a confusion stage. You go into pain, fear, anxiety, stress. Then you become angry at somebody or at yourself. Then you come down to being powerless, I can't do anything. Then you go over to the manifestation of that anger, which is, I'm going to do something, good, bad, or indifferent. It goes into action, then the consequence of that action, right, wrong, or indifferent, into guilt, remorse, and back again. And that's why people relapse. You know, they go through either medication or psychological guidance, and then they relapse, and they get out of it and relapse. So the biggest problem is the relapse cycle. It'll keep continuing until the core problem is solved. Now this is the human cosmos, okay? Please look at all the rows and all the columns. The four pillars of our being are the family, our career, our health, our finances. Now all of these, you have the denial phase, you are dishonest with yourself, with everything around you. You have your ego, which is another main cause of denial and non-acceptance. Then you have the amends. You have to say sorry to somebody. You made a mistake. They made a mistake. Blame game. Ultimately, if you don't say sorry, if you don't make up for what you did, you'll never get anywhere. There'll be no forgiveness. There'll be no forgetting. Then you come into the heart, the mind, the body, the soul. And why do people take more, do more, use more, or whatever it is? It's because either they're hungry, either they're angry, either they're lonely, either they're tired. Now, for example, and I have to rush through this, loneliness doesn't mean physical loneliness. I could be right here with 150 people, and I could be very lonely. Because I'm mentally, emotionally lonely, not physically lonely. So we could go through all of these in depth, every one of them. And basically, the problem, the statistics, the delivery system of getting drugs to children is so sophisticated today. You think they're having candy, and 2 licks of that candy, and they're on a bigger high than any heroin addict. And that delivery system exists in the panwala, in the bus driver, in the security guard. The complete system exists, boys and girls. And it's starting even at the age of 13, 14. And at this rehab center that I'm helping out with, 17-year-old kid, he's proudly telling me, he says, Uncle, I peddle dope and joints in my class and I'm making so much money. See all these fancy clothes I've got? So I go to the principal of the school and I say, do you have a problem with addiction in your school? He says, oh, no, no, Mr. Agarwal, not in my school. We're the best school in town. And I said, well, I have a 17-year-old kid. He's in class 11 of your school. And this is what he's telling me. So the principal said, oh, what's his name? What's his name? And I said, his name is not the issue. Issue is, do you have a problem or don't you have a problem? Oh, yes, Mr. Agarwal, but the reputation of our school is at stake. How can we admit that we have a problem? I said, don't you have a moral and ethical responsibility to get the parents, the teachers, and sit them down? He said, well, what do you suggest? I said, I have a seminar outlined, 3 hours, lunch, question answer, lunch, dinner, question answer. Go through every aspect of what the parents should know, what the teacher should know. The parents are blaming the teacher, he's not doing well. The teacher is saying, no, he's not behaving well because of, I don't know. So the school counselors have no clue about addiction. They're into the dress code and into attendance and all that. If you ask a school counselor today and say, do you know about addiction? What are the symptoms? How do you know that this child is, onto something? We don't know. The problem is acute, and basically denial, denial, denial. Nobody wants to admit that there is a problem. And we have to overcome that, the stigma associated with it. And I'm going to do everything I can to build an education, awareness, prevention, intervention, solution, engagement module, whether it's edu-learning, digital learning, actual seminars, and so on and so forth. So can we go to the next slide, please? There are 3 types of intelligence: your IQ, your EQ, and your SQ. There are other types of intelligence. Your intelligence quotient, which I think has. There's the emotional quotient. And then there's the spiritual quotient, which was, the speakers before talked about. So basically, these are all the things. It's all emotions. Based on emotions, you come up with certain thoughts, certain actions, and then you act upon them, and you know the result. So this is our EQ. Could you get the next slide, please? Okay, when I was writing the book, I just sat down and looked at the keyboard. Everybody has this keyboard on their laptop. And I said, that's funny. So what if I take each of the keys on this keyboard and I apply it to self-evaluation, Things are not going well. Well, if you do one by one, delete your ego, you escape your past, you control your emotions, you download your common sense. And we'll talk about common sense in a minute. That's very important. And so on and so forth. Now this is all the book is on Kindle.in under The Accidental Addict and the Power of Positive Thinking. So you can, for 95 rupees, you can download a copy. And so now, fine. Could you go to the next slide? Okay, so that's the book. There's the train coming, it's the Addict Express. The guy is sitting on the track. And there's an accident about to happen. I don't know. I just thought it'd be interesting to see. People said you should make it more uplifting and positive. But that's reality. That's what's going to happen with this adult or a child. Could you go to the next one, please? So basically, these are I'm not trying to sell the book, by the way. My mission here is to engage everybody. I met some wonderful people that have come at my request to attend this conference from far and far away. So, but basically, what are the components of addiction? Address each one of them. What is cognitive thinking? What is problem assessment? What is the ego? What is denial? And so on and so forth. Could you go to the next one, please? This is the table of contents. And it's a little bit blurred, I'm sorry, but please go on the next one. This is all the table of contents. And this is where all the motivation, inspiration material is, which is the core. Lots of books have case studies and case histories. I purposely did not get into that. I went into what I think is the USP of the book, which is self-realization. Please. So anyway, this is my business card. I don't have much. Try and get the book if you like on Kindle. There's a GST tax number issue on Amazon. It's exempt, but they won't accept it without the GST. I don't have a GST, so we're going round and round in circles. You can also get the hard copy if you write to the website, directly to the website, forlifeispositive.com. You can order there directly via your credit card or what have you. That's my email. I would prefer if everybody communicate via email. If it's important, and my phone number is there. And so that's basically it. Now, you know, I would like to engage NGOs, CSR, state and local governments, you know, philanthropic organizations. I'm here for that. Hey, come on. Addiction is the mother of all diseases, ladies and gentlemen. It's bigger than cancer, it's bigger than Alzheimer's, it's bigger than Parkinson's, bigger than HIV, bigger than AIDS. Yet, it's not recognized as being a disease even, and it is. And it's not relegated in priority, you know, hunger, poverty, or addiction. And if you look at the statistics, and if you take it from the original, that we're all addicts of some kind, of some persuasion, to some extent, for some reason, and with some consequence. If you look at it holistically, and that's where we're at. So, you know, my plea in closing, Shri Narendra Modi, Prime Minister, has done an outstanding job. We should clean up the Ganga. We should clear up pollution. But it is my plea to him. We cannot have a Swachh Bharat, truly Swachh Bharat, until we cleanse our social fabric of addiction. How can you say Swachh Bharat? No, we're not clean. That is where it comes down to. And that is where I'm asking the Minister of State, I'm asking people here, having, you know, I'm a grandfather, I'm 70 years old, but my commitment to this cause, my passion and my energy are unlimited. And I'm getting emotional, but I need everyone's help to join hands. Let us create a movement in this country, not just a campaign, not just an initiative, but a movement that we all join together, come on a common group, a common platform, and we say, okay, now let's go do this. So I want to thank all of you, truly. I want to thank Dr. Murthy. Thank you very much.
Of appreciation for such a fantabulous person who gave such fantabulous information. Request Lata ma'am to kindly come upon the dais. To join her on the stage, let me take the privilege to welcome Edward sir on the stage along with Morgan. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Murthy. Thank you.